Go.
Oh, wait, meditation as well.
Better sit here.
Huh?
All right, good morning.
Yeah,
We're holding today's Daf test. We're holding on the bottom of Daf Chesed with Beis by Kufa. Today we're going to learn about shlomim that were shechted outside of the Azara in the Heichal. Belila of the Mincha B'chutz. We're also going to have a nice size sugya regarding a mincha that's missing. Some of the mincha went missing either before the kmitza or after the kmitza, but before the haktara. Do we say that the kli is kiveya or the kmitza is kiveya? And finally, we're going to have a sugya about kmitza b'smoil. Zog the Gemara, Gufa, Omer Rabbi Yochanan, Shlomin, this we had last night. Shlomin sheshachtam beheichal ksherin. Although I have to do the shlomim in the Azara, but if you shech the shlomim in the Heichal, it's still kosher. Shenemar, u'shachadu pesach oil moyed. Where do you shech in the Azara? You shech opposite of the oil moyed. So the Torah mentions oil moyed, which is in the Beis Hamikdash the Heichal. V'lo yetafel chamor min ha'yikar. So it's like a kavach chomer. If you have to do it opposite the doorway of the Heichal, so certainly in the Heichal would also be okay. Meisvei. Rabbi Yehuda ben Meseir oimer menayin shemikifu goyim es ha'azara. Noam, do you remember this one from Zvachim?
Yes.
Throwing.
Yes.
Yeah, missiles.
They all ran inside.
What if the goyim were throwing, literally the translation, the English translation is missiles. They were throwing things into the Azara, so the Kohanim could not perform the avoid in the Azara. So over here we're not talking about shchita, but rather we're talking about eating the kochi kochim inside the heichal, and also the mincha. The kodesh hakadoshim doichlein. What would be the problem going into the heichal? Perhaps it's yotzei. By you going into the heichal, you're leaving where you're supposed to be. You're supposed to be in the Azara, and you go into the heichal. But it says b'kodesh hakadoshim doichlein. Not necessarily the kodesh hakadoshim which we know today as the kodesh hakadoshim lifnai or lifnim. We're talking about kodesh hakadoshim referring to one step above the Azara. Is Kodesh HaKadoshim, the whole Heichal is called Kodesh HaKadoshim in the Torah. So now the Gemara asks a kasha. We were able to learn this from a svara, from a kavach chomer. If you could do it in the doorways, so certainly you should be able to do it inside the Heichal. So then why do I need a pasuk? I already have a pasuk, and I learned from that pasuk a kavach chomer. Says the Gemara, there's a difference. What's derech eretz? It's okay, it's derech eretz to perform avodah, to do work, to do shchita in front of your Rebbe. But to fresh a steak is not so proper.
The same svara as in Zvachim.
We had word for word in Zvachim, yeah. This is basically a good chazar on Zvachim. You just have to stick in the word mincha instead of carbon so far, and everything goes. Achila she'eno l'moichel b'mokim rabbi. Time of the kosav kro. That's why I need a pasuk. Misvar I wouldn't know it. Alav halikosav kro lo yatov v'chomim v'neikar lo yamrinon. I wouldn't be able to say my kavachayim. Fine. Short akdama. How does the mincha work? How does the shemen work with the mincha, right? You have a loik shemen. Typically, a lot of menachos have oil. How do you introduce the oil into the soilus? There's 3 steps. Step number 1 is you put the oil into the bowl. Afterwards, you put the soilus on top of the oil. Step number 2 is taking that oil again and putting it on top of the soilus, and then do something called belila, mixing it up together. That's what we're going to be discussing right now, belila. Step number 3 is after you finish doing belila, you take the leftover oil, whatever is remaining in that kli, you pour it on top of everything. That's yitzika.
After it's baked.
What do you put, the oil?
The oil, the leftover oil, you put it on top. Bake, not bake, whatever it is.
After it's made.
Who said? I don't know. I don't think so. I think you have to do the whole baking with all the oil. So Mela, it should be before. That's what I think. Okay. Itmar. Bilala chutz l'choymes hazara. What happens if he did the belila outside of the hazara? The kmitza certainly has to be done inside the hazara. What happens if he did the belila? Step number 2. He first put the oil on the bottom of the bowl. Then he added the soilus. And when he's done with the soilus, he put, the second time he put oil, and he did belila, but the belila was outside of the hazara. Now, I think we should all look into the top taisus real quickly. Very important taisus. Rabbi Yochanan Mapsula, afagav de loy bolak sheira. Unbelievable kasha, as taisus. You don't need belila. So who cares if he did belila outside? Says taisus, no, you're right. Sometimes when you don't need something, you can do it anywhere you want, such as mitzui adam. What's mitzui adam? Squeezing the blood out of the bird when you do malika. You don't need it. So if you do it anywhere on the mizbeach, it's okay. But if you go outside of the azara, you're right, you don't need it, but now you passed it by going outside and doing the avodah outside. You made a psul, even though you don't need it. All right. Says the Gemara weiter. Rish Lakish Amar Ksheira d'chsiv v'yotzek alei shemen v'nosan alei levoino. It says you do all these steps. You do yitzika, shemen, and levoino, and then only afterwards it says v'hodar v'heviyah b'nei Aaron akoyhanim v'kamatz. That what? Mikmitza ve'elach mitzvahs kuhuna. The Torah only talks about a kohen needing a kohen only from that point on. But the first point of the belila that we're talking about can be done even without a kohen in Yisrael. And therefore, since you don't need a kohen, so then you don't need, then the azor is not makiv. If a Yisrael can do the avodah, so then you can do it outside of the azor. What's the problem? Yes, you don't need a kohen, but you need a kli. Need the kuhuna loy boya, miyas boya. But certainly you have to be inside, says Rabbi Yochanan. And if he went outside, like we saw in Tosfos, he passes it. Tanya Kavasei, Rabbi Yochanan, it couldn't be any better than this brisa. Mamish says word for word, like Rabbi Yochanan said. Bilal Azar Ksheira. So over here you have the concept that a Yisrael could do the blila. You don't need a kohen, like it says in the pasuk, only from the kmitza on. And chutz l'choymes ha'azara psula. But if you do it outside of the azara, it's pasul. Itmar. Mincha shechasra koydem kmitza. Now we're going to discuss two types of menachos. A mincha that some of it went missing before the kmitza, but after you put it in the bowl. And a mincha that went missing after the kmitza, but before the aktar. So in the first case, mincha shechasra koydem kmitza, some of it went missing before the kmitza. Rabbi Yochanan Omar, we had like last night, that when it comes to lechem apanim, which is like a mincha, it is a mincha, even according to this Fasemis, one crumb missing makes it possible, makes all 12 breads possible. So the concept of chaser, missing, is very important. You can't have anything missing from the original. You're right. Right now it's no good, but there's a way out. You go home, you bring whatever is missing, you fill it up. It doesn't work. Why? What's the side of the machlekes? Rabbi Yochanan maybe mitach beisav meleno kimitza kavala. That once you do kimitza, only then it becomes kavua as a mincha, and I can't add anything to it. Rishlakish Omar leyavi mitach beisav meleno kedushas kli kavala. It's the bowl that makes it a mincha. And therefore, once I put it into the bowl, then it becomes kadosh, and I cannot add anything to it. It locks it out. I can't.
Yochanan doesn't argue on the Bryce before. Yochanan just said that once it goes into the kli.
Yeah. So they discuss it. Very good. So they come up with some sort of teretz.
He agrees that there's some level of production.
Exactly. Over here it becomes more kaddish to whether or not you could add to it or not add to it. But yeah, they definitely discuss it. The locking in part. Rashi says here, the kol kamen de leikometz lo loy mikarim mincha v'loy karinem ba min ha-mincha. The pasuk of min ha-mincha that we're going to see later on, that tells us that you can't be chisaron, you're not allowed to have chaser, that only occurs only after the kmitza. The question is, when the Torah says you can't have chaser, where does it start? At what point does it start?
There's a psul yoytzeh, but there's not called the haraya zaris. Right.
So, according to Rabbi Yochanan, that problem of chisaron only starts after the kmitza. Yes, the bowl has a kedusha and everything else, but the min ha-mincha is not applied until after the kmitza.
Didn't Rabbi Yochanan also say it's based on das? The das makes it kadosh.
Yeah, I don't know. Was it Rabbi Yochanan? I'm not sure if it was Rabbi Yochanan, but yeah, Zoysamer is on Omadal on the top over there. Yeah, but that has nothing to do with here. That's if a person wants to go back and redo it. We said that then you need das, and his das was to undo it, not to do it. But over here, he wants to continue weiter. He wants to make a mincha. This is very similar to what we're talking about. Instead of talking about the soilus, we're talking about the oil. If some of the oil goes missing, same problem. It says mefurish in the brayso that as long as you didn't perform the avodah with the shemen, you could always fill it up. So it's a raya against Reb Shlokish, because over here the shemen is inside the kli. And if it's inside the kli, then according to Reb Shlokish, you shouldn't be able to add anything to it. It should lock it out. And over here it says mefurish, it's not locked out. You could add shemen as much as you want, as long as you didn't perform that way. Yeah, it's in that kli, the measuring cup, which gives a kedusha.
And that's
It's having a good day.
You see why we have a redundancy here?
Well, this is the test day.
Yeah. Itmar. Shirayim shechosru ben kmitza la'aktaro. Now, a new shayla.
What's the shirayim?
When you take a kmitza out of the bowl, you have your whole mixture of the soilas, the fine flour, the oil, the levina, everything it's mixed in, and he takes his kmitza, right? Anything left over is called shirayim. Shirayim. That goes to the kohanim. As long as you could put your kmitza on the mizbeach and be makter, the rest is eaten by the kohen. So shirayim shechosru ben kmitza la'aktara. Something went missing from the entire mixture, not the kmitza, from the shirayim part, and it didn't become mutter yet to eat because the kohen didn't put it on the mizbeach. It wasn't mukter yet.
If the Kohen eats it, how does he put it on his mizbeach?
No, he puts the kmitza on the mizbeach, and then he gets to eat the rest. Rabbi Yochanan Omar makter koimetz aleihen. Now that you can't add anymore because he already took kmitza, and you can't add soilus to the mixture. And how are you going to do kmitza to that little amount that you did? So you're not adding. The question is whether he can continue to the mizbeach and put the koimetz on the mizbeach. And as we're going to see at the end of the sugya, to eat from this is finished. You can't eat from this anymore. That's not the shayla. The kohen will not be able to eat from the shirayim. The question is, could he finish the job? Could he, would the Yisrael get his kapara or whatever it is? Could he finish the job, or do you throw out the kmitza as well? You could continue. That's it. It's gone. It's finished. Once you have a little chesaron, it's all over. Says the Gemara, Aliba de Rebbe Eliezer, which we're going to see who he is and what he says. Kuliyam Eloi Pligi. There's no machlokes in Rebbe Eliezer. Ki Pligi, Aliba de Rebbe Yeshua. What's the machlokes? So we're not going to have any problem in Rebbe Eliezer. We're going to have a machlokes in Rebbe Yeshua. This is not. It says in the Mishnah later on, B'negea to a mincha, Nitmu shi'arel. If the entire mixture that was left over became tamei, which is similar to our sugyo, something got lost, became tamei, a problem with the shirayim. Nisrfu shi'arel, of the shi'arel, got lost, it's gone. Says the Gemara, says the Mishnah, Kemidas Rebbe Eliezer Ksheira. What does Kemidas mean? Just like Rebbe Eliezer Shita somewhere else. By blood, by Zrika and Zvachim, Rebbe Eliezer holds that if there's nothing left over from the animal, just like he says over there, Ksheira, just like he says over there, you're allowed to do Zrika, continue doing Zrika. It doesn't matter that I don't have anything to do the Zrika on. I could always do Zrika as long as I have blood. So too over here, I don't care if the mincha, the shirayim is gone and puzzle and treif and lost.
As long as I have a koimitz.
I have a koimitz. Continue with the kmitza. Reb Shua says no. Kemidas Reb Shua psula. Reb Shua's shita in blood is that I need the zrika to be chal on something. Zrika comes to accomplish. What does it come to accomplish? It comes to accomplish that I can eat the meat. It's a matter to something. Or that I could put the imurim on the mizbeach. If I have nothing to put on the mizbeach, I have nothing to eat, then why am I doing zrika, says Reb Shua. So there also, if the kohen is not going to be able to eat his mincha, then why am I doing a kmitza on the mizbeach? Why am I being makdir it? Possible.
How do you use the expression kemidas?
Kemidas is, well, first of all, we're talking about zvachim. Time out. Zvachim is always... Right. But it's a very nice lashon. Kemidas, like his shita. What should it say in the Mishnah? Kishitasoi, Elazar l'shitasoi. What's a good word? You're right. It's a rare word. I'm going to do the research after this year. We're going to see how many times it says it in Shas. Fine.
I'm not talking about measurement.
Right. Kemidas is, yeah, but it's like the midah, the way he thinks, the way he does it. Fine. Man de pasal ki Rebbe Yeshua. So over here, Rish Lakish, who says that if some of the mincha goes missing, some of the shirayim goes missing, it's all over, throw it out into the garbage, he's going to hold like Rebbe Yeshua. That is no good. Uman de machshir, but Rebbe Yochanan says, wait a minute, I can still agree to Rebbe Yeshua. Why? Atkan lo yomar Rebbe Yeshua hasom el lo yishtayer. Over there, it's talking about there's nothing left of the meat, not even a kazayis, garnished. So there's nothing for the zrika or the kmitza to be chala. But over here, just part of the shirayim went missing. But he has a lot of shirayim left over. And maybe Rebbe Yeshua will hold that you could do a kmitza. The Sanya, and now we have mamish a brayso that says like Rebbe Yochanan. It says Rebbe Yeshua Omer. This is the same Rebbe Yeshua we're talking about. Which we said Rebbe Yochanan holds like Rebbe Yeshua. Rebbe Yeshua Omer. Kol hazor shevet Torah shenishtayer mem kazayis basar. He does say, if you have one kazayis left over, or kazayis chaylev, or the basar is the steak that the kohen eats. The chaylev is what the mizbeach, so to speak, eats. The chaylev, the murim. So if you have either a kazayis of human consumption meat or mizbeach meat, Zorek Adam, then you can do Zrikas Adam. If you have a half a shear, Kechatzi Zayis Basar, Kechatzi Zayis Chelev, any Zorikas Adam. Why? Like we explained. Because the Zrika is not going to be chal on anything. If the Zrika doesn't accomplish anything, then don't do the Zrika. So over here also, by our mincha, it's as if you have a Kazayis. You have a Kazayis left of the Shirai. So Rebbe Yeshua should hold that you continue with the kmitza. What's the problem? Uba oila, he finishes off the brayso. Uba oila afilu kechatzi zayis basar kechatzi zayis chaylev. Zorkas adam. That mebnei sheba oila kula kolel. Since the kohen doesn't eat the meat, so the meat that the mizbeach eats and the chaylev that the mizbeach eats is one. It's all the same min. It's min b'minoi. It's really not a half a kazayis of this. It's one kazayis of of something that belongs on the Mizbeach. Mincha says the Bryce, so Mincha af pi shekula kayemes lo yizrei. Even if you have the entire mixture, don't do zrikas adam. What does that mean? As the Gemara, Mincha ma'avidita. What is this doing here? Because there's no zrika at all by a mincha. There's no blood. Where do you have blood by a mincha? Omer Papa minchas nesachim. Yeah, there is blood. We're talking about a carbon.
There's throwing.
There's a carbon that is zrikas adam, and in addition to that carbon, it's a type of carbon that you also bring a mincha with it. Maybe since it's part of the carbon, then it should be as if there's meat left over, right? We're saying if there's meat left over, if there's a kazayis meat, you can do zrika. If there's no kazayis meat, don't do zrika. What if there's no kazayis meat, but there's a kazayis flour that came together with the meat? Maybe I would have a havamina mashmalon. No, you need a kazayis meat. It doesn't help me to have a kazayis of flour. Uman de pasal. So what's the other svara then? Shani hachadam akro v'heir makoy min ha-mincha es as korosa v'hikter mizbecha. You're right. When it comes to meat, as long as I have a kazayis left over, I could do zrika. But Rosh Lakish is going to say, yes, that's only by meat. But by a mincha, there's a special pasuk that tells me you cannot do it like that. It says by mincha, v'heir makoy min ha-mincha. Ha-mincha ad-isya l'kula mincha lo yagdir. Ha-mincha means the entire mincha. And what about Rabbi Yochanan v'idach? Min ha-mincha, mincha shoyzik kfar. Yes, it was whole. At a certain point of time, it has to be whole. When you start out, it has to be whole. But later on, throughout the process, even if some of it went missing, that's not a problem. That's not what the Torah comes to exclude.
Then we learn that hadam is chelik of the dam. Min hadam.
Is the other way around.
We had over here badam. Oh, min.
It does say min over here. No, it was the hay that was darshan. Yeah, over here it's min. Is there a shear for the min? It should be part of it, not all of it.
It's a minimum of sarin. Some are 2, some are 3. Each there's different menachos have different shiurim, but the minimum is in a sarin. Eisvi Rabbi Yochanan Rish Lakish. So this sugi we had last night. Actually, pirka nifras lachma. So this is referring to the lechem apanim, and as we said, every Shabbos they would break it down. They would take out the old loaves of bread with the levina, and they would trade it, and they would put the new ones in. What happens if we find that one of the breads is broken, and therefore it is a chaser, and a chaser passes everything? Depends. Actually, pirka nifras lachma, if the breaking of the bread happened before you took it apart, meaning taking it apart is considered the kmitza, breaking down the levina, taking out the levina is kmitza. Over here, it's if you found it before you took it apart, it's as if you found it before the kmitza. But what? After it's already in the klishares, because the lechem is in the klishares. So what's the halacha? Halachim pasul v'makter levis bezichen. It's finished, gone, garbage. Throw it all out. V'im shepirka nifras lachma, and this